Welcome everybody. In this video, I'm going to be teaching you guys how you can always beat LeBlanc in mid lane. I used to be LeBlanc OTP, so I'm going to be sharing all of her secrets. Now, LeBlanc is a very strong laner. She's an absolute lane bully using her strong trading power. So the mindset and the mantra that you need to go into every single LeBlanc lane is the one that wins the trades will win the lane. So if you start losing the trades versus LeBlanc, you will eventually just get annihilated. But if you can start winning the trades versus LeBlanc, that's when you can actually beat her and put her under a lot of pressure and make her the most useless champion in the game. So a lot what we're going to be talking about is understanding how to trade into LeBlanc, how to prevent getting damaged by her, and how to actually damage her. So the first thing that you need to do whenever you play versus LeBlanc is take very lane aggressive setup. Okay, you need to fully invest into lane to deny her also a very strong lane. So if you're playing a mage, what I like to go is I like to go Airy, I like to go Scorch, and I also like to go bone plating. This is a combination that gives me a lot of lane power because it gives me a lot of extra damage and damage reduction. As you can see, I just used my bone plating previously to just walk at LeBlanc and trade with her because it's favorable for me because my bone plating denies the damage. I've got Scorch to make her low. And the lower LeBlanc is, the harder it is for her to trade because she needs to actively jump in. And if she is lower, it's a lot riskier for her to do that. So you're playing the trading war with LeBlanc. And a lot of people are going to be asking me, Tim, what if I play a champion that just doesn't win versus her? If you're playing a champion like Seraph or you're playing a champion like Yone where you just can't get your damage off onto her consistently, don't interact, okay? Don't trade. Stand back, out of her range. Do not get hit. Give a million or two. If you can't win the trades, then don't play the trading game. Play the scaling game or the wave clear game. You don't want to be matching up in her game plan because you're going to get absolutely annihilated in it. Now, like I mentioned, right? If you want to win the lane versus LeBlanc, you got to win the trades versus LeBlanc. So we got to understand how she works. LeBlanc is a champion that especially wants to trade around her electrocute. She's a burst-oriented mage. There's many trading combos that she can go for. Out attack Q, out attack, level 1. Out attack W, out attack is a classic combo as well. She can do QW, out attack, which procs electrocute. And these are generally her classic trading combos. So we want to make it especially hard for us to allow LeBlanc to get free procs on her Q. Her Q is where the big damage comes from. So you see that this, if she just lands Q1, it's totally fine. But if she procs that with a new spell, that initial damage gets doubled, and that's where she hurts you quite badly with it. So you need to be spaced in such a position that you prevent her from getting free QW out attacks off. If you get hit by QWs on cooldown, you're going to get blasted in the lane. You need to prevent getting hit by that at all costs. If you can force her to start with W, and that makes it already a lot harder for her to start Q, that is absolutely great. Now, LeBlanc has really high cooldowns in her lane. Thankfully, that is her counter, guys. Because if she had short cooldowns, her trading would be really, really, really OP. 15 seconds on her W, 6 seconds on her Q if she uses it on you. If she uses it on a creep, it gets refunded to 4 seconds. So keep that in mind. That's why it's also quite good to actually walk up and trade with LeBlanc whenever her Q is on cooldown, because a big part of her damage is actually gone. And you see in this case, she uses it to CS, which is what a lot of LeBlanc players do. And if you then therefore pressure onto the minions, she's in a position where she's forced to use her Q onto the wave to CS the creep, because the Q is longer range, and that's your time to then walk up and trade with her. Now, like I mentioned, right, you don't want to give LeBlanc the QW. What did I do right here? I gave her the QW. But the only reason I did that is because I have bone plating up. So I'm actively trading around my bone plating right now, stepping up forward and extending the trade. This is something that you can do versus LeBlanc, is you can sometimes extend the trade. So you run into her. Because her long cooldowns, she's in a position where she then cannot really fire back because she's already fired her sniper rifle. LeBlanc is a sniper. She's got one shot, and then she needs to recharge. And if she's used that shot, she's just incredibly useless afterwards. So that's the mindset, guys. You need to play the trades into LeBlanc. If you're playing a champ that struggles a little bit with trading, you need to be a little bit more opportunistic. Victor is, of course, a pretty strong trader. If you're playing a mage that is a little bit weaker, like Syndra, you need to bait out that W spell first, or you need to try to make it hard for her to actually W onto you consistently by using your E reactively. That's like the mindset. You're playing the plus-minus game. How much damage are we getting in versus how much damage are we getting out? And if you're on the right side of that equation, you will eventually be winning. Now, the final thing I want to talk about is trading even versus LeBlanc. If you trade even, where she gets 50% of your HP bar and you get 50% of your HP bar, it's generally not winning for you because LeBlanc is a burst-oriented assassin, so she has higher kill ranges for you. So you want to be very careful with trading even. Now, let's talk about itemization versus LeBlanc, because this is going to be your cheat code into victory, guys. LeBlanc is a burst-oriented assassin, like I mentioned, right? So a lot of her damage is flat AP damage. Now, what's the biggest counters versus burst? Defensive stats. If you're playing a mage that can build Roa, go Roa. It just completely counters the shit out of her. If you're playing a mage that can't go Roa, go no magic mantle. It also counters the shit out of her. And from that point, you can just start stat checking her using your defensive stats. And that makes it almost impossible for LeBlanc to always 100 to 0 you, because these defensive stats prevent the kill ranges. And it will allow you to stand your ground in these trades and actually get favorable trades and get outside of these kill threats. And that's like the key thing that you want to do. If you go even in this lane, you'll outskill her, because LeBlanc is one of the hardest champs in the game. There is very little players that can properly execute this champion in the mid to late game. Even in Challenger, a lot of people just mess up. The champ's too hard. She's got too many options. She will make mistakes in the mid game. And she's super squishy as well, guys. This champ it's not a bad mid to late game champ, but it's really dysfunctional in practicality. But also, a key thing to keep in mind is that a lot of compositions, LeBlanc can't play into a lot of compositions because of the fact that she does not function with defensive stats well at all. It's just terrible for her. Upgraded mercs as well, if you can buy them, is great. It's going to put you in a position of full control. And you see that from this position, I'm just kind of stat checking LeBlanc, and she's just out of the lane. She cannot do anything. I just completely annihilate her in the trades. I stand my ground. She cannot kill me. And I'm just slowly chipping away their health bar. Every bit of damage that we get onto her will stick. It's also very hard for her to clear the wave because her W is committal, especially if we get her lower. It's impossible for her to clear the wave. And then you can just kind of pin her in the lane, and it's just complete annihilation. Now, there's another point that I want to talk about, which is LeBlanc post 6. LeBlanc post 6 is a little bit more dangerous because of the fact that she gets extra trading opportunities, okay? And a big mistake that I see a lot of people make is that they think that they are safe for the E in between these caster minions. What LeBlanc likes to do very often is that she likes to walk up, CS the minions AoE with her W, then also hit you. And then because these minions are then CS'd and gone, she can land an E angle onto you. And this is a pretty good example here. This is what LeBlancs like to do. They W the minions, and now they get the opportunity to land a spell onto you. And it's good that I'm this far ahead with my ruby crystals already. Otherwise, this would have been a big chunk, right? And in this case, I can stat check her purely through my itemization. Very easy, guys, if you just itemize well versus champ, by the way. But if you don't do that, then of course it's going to be a really awkward trade. But post level 6, LeBlanc can do a lot more creative stuff, where she, of course, does double dashes onto your face. And if you can't stat check her, the trades are then going to be really, really annoying. So, yeah, get defensive items, guys, so that you can kind of stat check LeBlanc. That's her biggest counter. The biggest tip I can give you is that if you truly are puzzled, even after this video, it's very normal, okay? Because LeBlanc is a champion that if you've never played her, you'll never truly understand her. You need to actually play the champ to truly understand her. Katarina is very similar. You need to have played this champ a few games to understand her. So if you're still just absolutely lost, get 10 to 15 LeBlanc games in. Watch a little bit of my LeBlanc guide on my main YouTube channel, Coach Mysterias. Just watch some introduction parts, and you should have a really good grip on what she wants to do, how she wants to play the lane, how she wants to trade, and you then have a lot easier time countering it. If you're playing a melee champion, guys, I'm sorry. The ball is always in the court of LeBlanc. She has all the agency. She has the proactivity. She can do whatever she wants. And the goal is to try to bait out her spells, be opportunistic, definitely get yourself a defensive item like a no magic mantle to prevent positions where she can like 100 to 0 you. Try to deny her QW out attack trades. That's the biggest thing. If you ever get traded on very badly, guys, okay? If she ever wins a trade into you, you need to go into the review and you need to figure out why she took that trade, what you didn't understand about that champion that allowed her to take that good quality trade. And that's something that you need to investigate and break down. And by basically reverse engineering how you could have played it differently, you can now get to an understanding of how to prevent these bad trades. And that's going to make it a lot easier for you to verse up against LeBlanc in the next time, because you have a little bit better understanding of what her limits are and what she can do. As a final thing, especially in Master Plus, LeBlanc will not be playing the lane alone. She's going to get ganks. So in Master Plus, keep in mind that you're going to get ganked. So I personally like to contest the wave and push into LeBlanc in the first few waves. That means that you got to have good quality warding and leaning to make sure you don't get ganked. Her ganking threat is, of course, really, really high with her E. So Be aware of that. Don't mindlessly push. Make sure that you have vision set up. And if you don't, then it'd be wise to maybe hold the wave on your side. Because if you hold the wave on your side, LeBlanc really struggles because she can't use her W offensively because you're basically hiding under the tower. So if you're truly trying to avoid her in the lane, hold the wave on your side 24/7, get through the mid game, and then in the mid game, you can eventually start beating her because you itemized smartly, and this champion is too hard to properly execute in the mid game. Now, that's everything you need to know about beating LeBlanc. You now know exactly what to do. If you struggle versus LeBlanc, you probably also struggle versus Zoe. So for that matchup, check it right here.